오늘 이제 방금 일어났는데 이틀 전이네요. 자격증 시험 이틀 전인데, 그럼 오늘부터 한번 자격증 시험 준비하는 모습 한번 찍어보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 여기서 일단 제가 공부하는 방이고, 여기서 이제 온라인 강의랑 그리고 교과서, 교재랑 이제 온라인 강의 위주로 제가 자격증 시험 준비를 하고 있기 때문에 제가 간단히 그냥 영상 보는 것과 그리고 교재 읽는 모습을 좀 보여드리려고 합니다. 일단 저는 현재 지금 컴퓨터 활용 능력 시험을 준비하고 있고요. 사실 이제 많은 그런 분들이 커마를 많이 준비하잖아요. 왜냐면 거의 기본적인 자격증이라고 생각하시는 분들이 많아가지고, 현재 이런 책과 함께, 그래서 이제 내일 모레 이제 시험인데 그걸 계속해서 준비하고 있습니다. 온라인 같은 경우에는 이제 이런 식으로 저는 꾸준하게 듣고 있거든요. 그래서 여기 보시면은 IT 강의도 제가 이쪽에서 많이 듣고 있고, 제가 듣고 있는 사이트인데, 이런 식으로 해서 여러 가지, 그래서 영어 공부도 하고요, 평소에. 이번에는 이제 IT 강의만 들었지만은 이런 식으로 다 제가 들었던 내용들인데, 여기서 꾸준히 계속 인터넷 강의도 듣고 있습니다. 그리고 이제 오늘은 제가 줌에서 팀 과제 화상 회의가 있거든요. 그래서 지금 회의를 기다리고 있는데, 오늘도 줌 회의를 통해서 이제 저희가 어떻게 이 주제를 기획하고 발표하고 자료 조사도 하고 할 건지 좀 기대도 되고, 지금 현재 5분 뒤에 모이는 시작 시간인데 기다리고 있습니다. 드디어 오늘 시험을 보는 날이네요. 많이 떨리기도 하고, 그리고 좀 기대되기도 하네요. 붙으면은 정말 지금까지 노력했던 게 정말 보람찬 일이니까. 그래서 지금 이제 출발해야 되는데, 제가 시험 결과를 나오면은 영상을 통해서 한 번 더 공개해 보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 지금 이제 시험 결과를 확인해 보려고 하는데요. 일단 60점이 넘어야 합격이고, 그 이하면은 불합격이거든요. 지금 제가 딱 긴장감 있게 하려고 제가 모니터를 꺼놨거든요. 결과 확인 딱 들어가 놓고 바로 모니터를 껐는데, 저보다 지금 영상으로 먼저 한번 만나보겠습니다. 지금 모니터 잠깐 꺼둔 상태고, 키면 이제 나오거든요. 과연 붙었습니다. 그래도 지난 3달간 열심히 공부한 보람이 있네요. 여러분들도 할 수 있습니다. 아무리 힘들다고 하지만 요즘에 그래도 다행이네요. 제가 이거 지금 보려고 계속 기다리고 있었거든요. 그래도 합격이라서 정말 다행입니다. 우리 전 세계 모든 청년분들도 힘든 시기지만 꾸준히 열심히 노력해서 원하는 결과를 꼭 이루시길 기원하겠습니다. 그럼 안녕.
Hello, my name is Ekaterina and I'm from Russia. Currently, I'm a PhD student at Yonsei University in Seoul, majoring in international cooperation. I came for my PhD program in September 2016, so I've been living in Korea for almost 4 years. But actually, the first time I came to Korea was 2012, when I worked at World Expo in Yeosu. After that, I stayed for 1 more year as exchange student. And also, I used to come to Korea several times to visit my friends, to travel, to participate in different conferences and seminars. I have several stages of perception of my life in Korea. When I came for the first time, the feeling was, oh my God, this country is ideal. All people are so cute, so kind. Actually, that time, the university was responsible for the students. So I did not need to solve any problems and I didn't have any accidents. So the life was very, very easy and just so much fun. When I came in 2016 for my PhD program and I began to live by myself with nobody to help me, the first year was really, really hard because there were so many people around me, but I felt alone. And when I needed to go to the bank or hospital, I felt so nervous because every time there was so many misunderstandings. Maybe because my language skills were not enough to explain what I need. And frankly speaking, sometimes the staff was not very polite. So I felt that people somehow ignore me, and I had no desire to make new Korean friends that time. But the time passed and I began to think, oh, maybe I should change my mind. Maybe I should be more open to Korean people. So I decided to meet new friends and I participated in different programs like language exchange, traveling. I also began to learn dance. And today I feel absolutely comfortable living in Korea, both mentally and physically. And actually, I don't feel that much that I'm a foreigner. I don't have any communication problem with Korean people. I don't feel discriminated in Korean society, and I don't have any cultural barriers as well. First of all, you should know the language. And what I mean, it's not that you can say, hi, how are you? Have a nice day. You should have the level that allows you to explain your thoughts, your complaints, what you want, what you need. Also, if you are a student or you work in a Korean company, your level should be enough to explain your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions. Just imagine you have a brilliant idea, but you cannot explain it properly. So nobody will know that you have this great idea. So it will be a real obstacle for your expression as a person, as a talented person. So language is the first and the main instrument you should have to live full life here in Korea. And I also think if you know the language well, people will take you more serious. If you don't know the language, you look really cute, like a kid, but it's not an advantage if you want to be a real part of a foreign country's society. I want to advise you to be yourself. Don't try to be a Korean if you are not Korean. Yes, you should have manners, you should be polite to people, but that does not mean you should change your personality. That does not mean you should copy Korean people. Instead, try to explain to your Korean friends some of your culture, what is important in your country, what values do you have, etc. It should be from the both sides. You try to understand Korean culture, and your Korean friends also should try to understand your culture, to understand and to know and to learn about you, about your values, about your character. And I think in that case, everything will work. It's necessary to learn base Korean culture. That will help you to be polite, to have manners, and to understand Korean people's actions and not to be offended if some action may seem a little bit strange or rude, right? For example, in my country, if a man asks a woman about her age, it's so rude. But here it's normal. In Korea, when people ask your age, it's not because they want to be rude. It's because this is really important for them. And I also think that we should not focus too much on our nationalities. If you cannot build good relations with a person, it's not because he is a Korean or he is Russian. It's because you have different characters, you both have different interests, different values. You know, in our own countries, we also have friends and we have people with whom we have bad relations, right? The main thing is not a nationality. But very often, when people came to Korea, they tried to explain their failure in building relationships, but by cultural differences. Of course, that exists, but this is not the main point, I think. Determine your goal. Are you planning to travel to Korea, or you wanna study here? Do you plan to stay for a long time, or you just finish your master degree and after that you will come back to your home country? So if you are just traveling to Korea, you don't need to know Korean language, you don't need to know corporate Korean culture, right? But if you are planning to stay in Korea for several years, I advise you to prepare in advance. First, try to learn Korean language as much as you can. We have all different conditions, right? Some people learn language for 3 years before they come to Korea. Some people don't have that much time to learn the language. So, of course, we have all different conditions, but I advise you to prepare as much as possible before you come to the country. Second, learn as much as possible about Korean culture. That doesn't mean that you know all Korean history from Tango until these days, but you should know the base. And we are living in the area of social media, so try to make Korean friends in advance. So when you come, you will have somebody here who can help you, who can spend some time with you, to whom you can ask some questions if needed. I also highly recommend you to register in some community clubs, singing clubs, guitar playing clubs, mountain climbing clubs, dancing clubs, because first of all, you can meet Korean friends there. They have regular events, so you will be always communicating and dealing with Korean people, and it will help you to flow into Korean society real naturally. Be positive and open-minded, try to understand rather than blame, try to express positive energy, and then Korean friends will reach out to you. And I hope you will fall in love with Korea when you come here, and I wish you a good luck.
यरबुन अन्यवासेयो नमस्ते। मेरा नाम दीपक रंजन है और मैं ये आज हंगांग नेटवर्क के प्रोजेक्ट 공감골든타임 के माध्यम से आपको कोरिया में क्या खाना चाहिए, कैसे खाना चाहिए, ये बताने वाला हूँ। आइए चलते हैं। सबसे पहली बात जो आपको ध्यान में रखना है वो कोरियन जो भी रेस्टोरेंट्स में जाएंगे आप तो खाने के लिए आपको चॉपस्टिक्स मिलेगा, क्योंकि खाने का तरीका के हिसाब से आप उसे हाथ से खाने में थोड़ी सी आपको प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, इसलिए आपको चॉपस्टिक का थोड़ा आदत लगाना पड़ेगा। जैसे आप देख रहे हैं बच्चा कितना प्यार से चॉपस्टिक यूज कर रहा है। यहाँ पे लोग चावल को भी चॉपस्टिक से खाते हैं, नूडल्स को भी चॉपस्टिक से खाते हैं और मीट्स को भी आराम से चॉपस्टिक्स पर खाते हैं। थोड़े से अपना वो इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट्स में जैसे जाएंगे तो आप हाथ से खा सकते हैं, यहाँ पे भी इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट्स हैं, बट आप कोरियन खाना खाते हैं तो चॉपस्टिक्स की आदत आपको लगानी पड़ेगी। दूसरा जो है बैठने का तरीका। आप बैठने का तरीका अपने हिसाब से, अपने जैसे जिस जगह पे जाएंगे उस रेस्टोरेंट्स के हिसाब से या फिर अपने फ्रेंड्स के हिसाब से आप बैठ के खाना खा सकते हैं। बट जो कोरियन ट्रेडिशनल लोग खाते थे, फैमिली के साथ बैठ के खाते थे, तो जैसे अपना पुराना रिवाज था ना, नीचे बैठकर आराम से पालथी मार कर खाने का, बस वैसे ही ये लोग भी पालथी मारते हैं। आराम से एक छोटी सी टेबल पे सारा खाना रख के एक साथ चॉपस्टिक से उठाकर खाते हैं। कोरियन खाना में सबसे ज़्यादा जो एक फेमस है वो किमची है। कोरिया के किसी भी कोने में जाएंगे आपको किमची जरूर मिलेगा। कोई भी रेस्टोरेंट्स में जाएंगे, कोई भी खाना खाएंगे, आपको किमची मिलेगा। बट जो वेजिटेरियन है, जिनको खुद मीट्स खाने में प्रॉब्लम है, वो आप किमची और चावल एक साथ मिलाकर खा सकते हैं, या फिर अगर घर पे खा रहे हैं तो किमची फ्राइड राइस बनाकर खा सकते हैं, या फिर आपको होटल्स में भी किमची फ्राइड राइस मिलेगा। इसमें आप मीट्स को एक्सक्लूड कर सकते हैं और आप वेजिटेरियन आराम से ये खाना खा सकते हैं। दूसरा खाना मैं जो प्रीफर करता हूँ, किम्पाप। ये भी वेजिटेरियन खाना है। आप कीम और भाप में से यहाँ पे राइस होती है, कीम और राइस को मिलाकर साथ में खा सकते हैं। इसका खाने का और तरीका है, जैसे कि आप रेस्टोरेंट्स में खाने जाएंगे तो ये खाने एक रोल की तरह मिलेगा। इसके अंदर कीम जो आप हरे रंग की दिख रही है वो कीम है, समुद्री इसे एक्चुअली काई बोला जाता है, बट ये बहुत ज़्यादा हेल्दी फूड, इसमें बहुत सारे न्यूट्रिएंट्स रहता है। सो आप इसे भी ट्राई कर सकते हैं। इसके अंदर आप रोल्स करते समय अंडा, गाजर, एक तरह के वेजिटेबल्स डाल के रोल्स मिलेगा। अगर आपको अंडा नहीं पसंद है तो अंडा एक्सक्लूड कर सकते हैं, मिर्च नहीं पसंद है एक्सक्लूड कर सकते हैं, तो ये जनरली वेजिटेबल बन जाएगा। तो आप इस तरह के आप किम्पाप भी खा सकते हैं। तीसरा खाना जो मैं आपको रिकमेंड कर रहा हूँ है बिबिम्बाप। बिबिम्बाप होता है मिक्स और पाप मीन्स राइस। सो आप राइस को मिक्स करके खाना है। तो इसमें आप जनरली राइस के साथ आपको एक वेजिटेबल्स मिलेंगे, और मशरूम रहेंगे, प्याज रहेंगे, कैरेट्स रहेंगे, और हो सकता है मिर्च भी रहेंगे। तो मिर्च को आप एक्सक्लूड करवा सकते हैं। कोई रेस्टोरेंट्स में नहीं देते, कोई रेस्टोरेंट्स में रखते हैं। और आपको अगर अंडा पसंद है तो ले सकते हैं, नहीं पसंद है तो उसे एक्सक्लूड कर दीजिए। आपको उसके साथ सॉस मिलेगा, आप उसे मस्त मिलाकर और फिर अपने स्वाद के अनुसार उसे सॉस, तीखा खाना है तो तीखा कर सकते हैं, नमक लेना तो नमक ले सकते हैं, आराम से उसे बिबिम्बाप बना के खा सकते हैं। तो ये कोरिया में लगभग हर जगह पे आपको बिबिम्बाप का रेस्टोरेंट्स मिल जाएगा। तो ये आराम से आप खा सकते हैं। चौथा जो सबसे ज़्यादा खाने वाला फास्ट फूड्स में आप बोल सकते हैं वो है रामेन। रामेन को आप 4 से 5 मिनट में बना सकते हैं। एक्चुअली ये हमारा मैगी को जो खाते हैं बस सिमिलर समझ लीजिए उसे। ये थोड़ा सा तीखा हो सकता है, तो आप उस स्वाद के अनुसार आप उसे में जो पाउडर है इसके अंदर वो अपने हिसाब से डालिए। और फिर जो अगर आपको मिर्च पसंद नहीं, इसके अंदर मिर्च का एक पैकेट होता है, उसे आप हटा दीजिए। बिल्कुल वेजिटेरियन खाना है, बिल्कुल वेजिटेरियन खाइए। और आपको कुछ सब्जी या फिर कुछ स्पेशल अंडा का टॉपिंग करना है तो उसे अंडा का टॉपिंग कर सकते हैं, नहीं करना है नहीं कर सकते हैं। 4 से 5 मिनट में इसे खा सकते हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात है, जब आपको इससे मन नहीं भरता है तो इसके ग्रेवी के साथ आप चावल को मिला के खा सकते हैं, जो हम लोग जनरली करते हैं। कभी कभी जब हमको खाना बनाने का नहीं मन है या फिर जल्दी में खाना है तो बस इसकी ग्रेवी के साथ आप चावल मिक्स करके खा सकते हैं। ये थोड़ा टेस्टी हो लगेगा। और पचमा जो है ये तकपोकी मैं रिकमेंड करता हूँ। अगर आप कोरिया आए तो स्ट्रीट फूड पे ये जनरली आपको मिल सकता है। थोड़ा सा तीखा भी होगा, कहीं पे तीखा नहीं भी होगा, तो आप अपने हिसाब से तकपोकी अगर टेस्ट जरूर करें जब भी आप कोरिया घूमने आए। लास्ट में मैं एक तक्कालबी को रिकमेंड करता हूँ उन दोस्तों के लिए जो चिकन खाते हैं। ये कोरिया का तक्कालबी बहुत चिकन का एक बहुत ही फेमस मेन्यू है, जिसे मैं अक्सर खाता हूँ अपने दोस्तों के साथ। इसे आप अपने हिसाब से तीखा करवाना है तीखा करवा खा सकते हैं, नहीं तीखा पसंद है तो कम तीखा करके पसंद कर सकते हैं। एक तरह का आपके सामने बारबेक्यू फ्राई करेंगे चिकन, और ये आप लास्ट में अगर आपको राइस भी लेना है इसके साथ तो पूरा चिकन फ्राई के बाद आपको राइस फ्राई करके आप राइस ले सकते हैं। तो आज इस वीडियो में इतना ही मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ। अगले वीडियो में मैं आपको और खाने को इंट्रोड्यूस करूँगा। तब तक के लिए नमस्कार। आप लोग स्वस्थ रहें, यही मैं दुआ करता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
While each expat has their unique experience in Korea, it cannot be denied that life here has affected us all in various ways. At first, we might not realize it, but the longer time we spend in the country, the more our daily habits begin to change. In fact, those who have endured the hardships surrounding the difficult process of settling here have already created a new reality in which they wake up every day. While growing accustomed to the local culture does not always go smoothly, it certainly has its advantages when it comes to socializing. From making friends more easily to advancing in your career development, incorporating the Korean lifestyle into your daily habits is a winning move. Even if you were not typically a big eater prior to coming here, the constant focus on eating you must have experienced at some point has probably changed that. To begin with, the countless options of unfamiliar dishes available when you first arrive here are as exciting as they are shocking. In any case, adjusting your taste buds is necessary because Korean food is the most available and therefore the cheapest meal alternative around here. English-speaking cooking classes in Seoul are easy to find, so you can even prepare hanshik at home once you learn the ropes of it. In addition, sharing food is the most common type of bonding in Korea, so both foreigners and Koreans alike are expected to at least occasionally eat in a group with their colleagues or classmates. No matter what it is, the real possibility of getting out of your daily life's routine is what affects our daily actions. Living in Korea will teach you that it is time to embrace new opportunities and experiences that go hand in hand with everyday life. While in many places traveling is considered a luxury, Korea provides many options for expats to do it for free. For example, it is not uncommon for provinces outside of the capital area to invite foreigners and grant them an experience of their local culture as a form of social media marketing aiming to boost tourism in the region. Being able to live like that has taught even the laziest of expats to search for more culturally enriching experiences rather than spend their free time couch potatoing. Purposely searching for more museums, books, study courses, or field trips to learn from is a positive habit gradually formed when living in Korea. If you are new to expat life in Korea and feel somewhat excluded from the society, remember that even a visit to the nearest store or a simple conversation with locals will significantly enrich your understanding of the country, which is always a step in the right direction. Once having moved to Korea, we all inevitably encounter people and situations that we are not used to or have never experienced before. But these help us grow and become a better version of ourselves. In Korea, you will begin to comprehend the Korean language better and more naturally than before, to the point where you will be catching yourself accidentally eavesdropping on random conversations around you. However, it is not only Korean that you will start mixing with your native language. For example, if you have only spoken English before moving here, Korea is a great place to learn not only Korean, but also some of the languages of your friends who come from non-English speaking countries. On the other hand, if you didn't have time to practice English at home because you were too busy mastering Korean, the variety of the local international community will certainly give you the chance to do so. So don't be afraid of any barriers and jump right into the language pool. As sad as it might sound at first, similar to those residing in other parts of the world, expats in Korea often get used to saying goodbye easily, because goodbyes have become a natural part of our lives. At first, you say goodbye to your family and loved ones every time you take a plane back to Korea. You also get to discover what it's like to be the one left behind, since close friends or even partners also tend to leave. Especially in Korea, many foreigners do not come to stay, but rather to achieve a specific goal, such as completing a degree or experiencing a working holiday. If you are still struggling with being separated from someone you miss, try to remember that having multiple places in the world where there are people who will be happy to see you is actually a positive thing. In this video, we have listed some habits that you might want to pick up while in Korea or that you have already formed unconsciously during your stay. And remember the golden rule: when in Korea, do as the Koreans